so often God will allow me to just settle in the story of Abraham. He just really will. And he just allows me to just put my anchor down and just sit there and pray and read and pray and read. It's no way possible that you today can really get to your destination. I mean, that purpose life that God has given you, it's no way that you can get there being surrounded by the residue of the old you. Sometimes it's hard for us to let go of the past because we really feel sometimes that the past is really a part of who we are. But have you ever considered that your past was a part of you awakening and becoming everything that God has intended for you to become? See, a lot of times when we look for purpose or we ask God, what is our purpose? We are confused. We don't understand what the purpose really is. But I must tell you that at least for me, my purpose was found in the most painful, triggering, emotionally vulnerable experiences in my life. It was through painful moments that God began to awaken my soul. He would allow me to enter into the same experiences over and over again until one day I awakened. See, everything that you may be going through today that seems so unbearable, like you just don't know how you're going to make it. You are a beautiful woman, but somehow you land in relationships where you are not seen, nor are you appreciated. Maybe sometimes you end up in relationships when you thought it was one way, but you find out later on that it was the same spirit, just a different frame. See, God wants to really free you today. This goes for both men and women today. See, in order for you to have a life that's fulfilled with everything that God planned on you, having, you have to be willing to let things go. I can only imagine how difficult it was for Abraham. You know what I'm saying? To live in a part of town, have a specific thing that he did all the time, surrounded by friends and family and culture, just in a place of just comfort, not really challenging him, but just a part of his habits. I mean, the way that they would celebrate, the things that they would do together, the people that he would talk to. But in order for God to really get Abram to transform or evolve into Abraham, he had to understand what it really meant to walk by faith. See, whenever you walk by faith, sight is off the table. Because after all, you entered into an unformed place that you didn't see, but it was the part of your experience. So a lot of times when we're birthing something new, when we're walking towards our purpose, when we're in the valley, in the wilderness, being developed for the promise, you get an idea of what it is, but it's like sight unseen. It's sight unseen. And I just want you to get familiar with not knowing everything and getting comfortable with really walking in faith. Get comfortable really relying on God to reveal more of you to you. Because when you give God the space to do the things that he do, you'll be amazed at what he shows you about you. How kind you are, how loving you are, how bold and beautiful you are, how magnificent, how intelligent, how just visionary you are. how patient, how sometimes you may be a little mean, how you are. He shows us things in becoming who we need to become to have that purpose. Every day you're not going to feel like it. Sometimes you're not going to believe it. Sometimes you just wonder if God is just playing with you. Sometimes you'll have experience after experience, relationship after relationship, encounter the same kind of rotten, low-down people. But could it be, just could it be, a part of the courses that you have to take in life in order for you to pass, in order for you to master, in order for you to be able to teach and stand in front of people that's going through like experiences to say, you know what? God is still good. It gave me so much more power. It gave me insight and wisdom. It taught me how to really be slow to my anger and slow to speak. It allowed me to hold space for people who did not really deserve it. It allowed me to see what I really didn't want, even though I thought I really did want something. Being able to walk in life, being able to really understand what it is to walk into a promise or a purpose that you don't understand how it's going to be formed. It requires you sometimes to give up everything that you knew. It requires you to take risks and you don't know how it's going to work out. It requires you to spiritually mature and grow up and stand in unseen territory. It requires you to break the cast off of normalcy in your life. It requires you to allow God to shake things up so that you can fully experience Christ. It allows you to really be about your Father's business instead of talking about it, really being actively, spiritually, and physically walking in it and being about it. I can imagine Abraham being scared. I can imagine him thinking, what God are you talking about? Are you really seriously telling me to walk away from everything that I know? I've spent my life establishing everything here. I've built a legacy here. I have family here. Things that I've always done here. Here is where I'm so comfortable. But if you know anything about growth, which is equivalent to our experience with God, you know it's anything but comfortable. I mean, it pushes your limits. It pushes you into a space of vulnerability. It makes you uncomfortable. He will have you to walk away from something that you've built your entire life in order for you to get the glory, in order for God to get the glory. And in order for you to get the promise and purpose that you were put here to really fulfill in your life. It's not Abraham had the things, but he had to be willing to trust God with the unseen things that God had given him in his heart. He had to get away from what was familiar to enter into a space without form, without any distractions, and really trust God for the unfamiliar. He had to be able to trust God, not man, not influences, but God. So I want you to think about that today, because a lot of you are entering into a place of unseen territory. A lot of you have been really chosen by God. He has really pricked your heart into the direction of fulfilling your life's purpose. He has called you to do something other than go to the same job for 8 hours and give them every ounce of your energy and have absolutely nothing left for you. He is bigger than that. What God has for you is better than that. You have a purpose. You have a destiny to fulfill that's independent of everything that you've comfortable and familiar with doing. It requires you to really sit with God in stillness and quiet. It requires you to get outside of what's familiar, to really get inside of spirituality for real and experience Him, to find your purpose, to live your dreams. Because we are entering into a place where you need to understand, baby, you can't put all your eggs into one basket. We're entering into a space where you have to be creative and you have to begin to move and change. You can't stay the same, not in this environment. It's very fluid. You have to be able to move and change. You have to have things and compartmentalize things in your life. But it's no way that you can make the right decisions without having the Christ consciousness and the connection and the line open to heaven. You have to get the noise, the static out of your consciousness. You have to get the noise and the static out of your spirit so that you can begin to really hear. Let those that have an ear, let them hear what the Spirit of the Lord is trying to say. Because we are surrounded every day that people see things, but they don't see. They hear things, but they do not hear what the Spirit of the Lord is saying to you. Because I'm sure that when Noah was building that ark, people were laughing and acting a fool and all caught up in their sin and probably talked about him being a drunk and some of everything else. But God will use somebody like that because their heart is pliable and pure enough to allow him in to clean him up and save him and a whole just generations after him. So what you're doing, it may seem foolish to other people. They may be talking about you and calling you ridiculous. You keep building. You keep preparing, you keep moving, you keep evolving, you keep loving, you keep being present, you keep staying connected with God, you keep quiet and build in silence. And trust me when I tell you, your purpose is waiting for you to walk in it. And until the next video, guys, peace, because I still be believing in you. Have a good day.